Yo, what is good, people? Don't even know why I said it like that. Don't even know why I said it like that. Excuse me. But hey, we're back for another episode of Go Through Em, which is basically me going through my pull list of the week and talking about the new comics I got. And so this is April 29th, 2026. I want to talk about my pull list of things real quick. So let's bring them up. Bam. Not that many, it's not the crazy stack. I've been actually cutting down. Actually, to start us off, I've actually been cutting down on a lot of comics. Actually stopped reading Batman, stopped collecting Batman and Detective Comics, which I've been collecting since forever. But the reason why the stories just weren't interesting me anymore. They weren't tickling my fancy. Pause, probably. I need to pause to say that. But yeah, there's a lot of like Batman comics were interesting to me. Some of the Superman comics I was reading, I've been reading Superman consistently for a while, and they just weren't interesting to me. This thing with DC sometimes, and actually Marvel too. Well, Marvel more, they've been doing a better job than DC to where these heroes just kind of they keep going and going. They're just not interesting anymore. You feel me? They're doing the the storylines may sound nice when they come up, but it's really just ready to be the same thing. You feel me? And it's gonna end lead to something else and lead to something else. So but with Marvel, sometimes they've done a great job with making things interesting. Like Moon Knight, they've been consistently making that interesting. Daredevil's come back. He was doing really good for a while. Then he kind of went whatever, but now he's back into it. The Hulk, they keep doing new stuff with the Hulk and Thor. So I think just with DC, some of their stuff is kind of is not capturing me like that. So a lot of my stuff I've just been dropping and trying to find new stuff to add to my pool list, especially with DC and not giving me Black Heroes. Marvel ain't really doing nothing with Black Panther, and they're finally bringing back Miles, I believe, in August. So yeah, I just been reading other stuff, finding new stuff to talk about, finding new stuff to read. So let's get started with Go Through 'em. Let's go through 'em. So, White Sky. First up, White Sky. This is by Image Comics. This is actually a pretty dope story. Post-apocalyptic. I want to say Walking Dead because that's post-apocalyptic, and it kind of has a thing like zombies, but it's not zombies at all. It's very different. But just to get you onto it, Walking Dead, something similar to Walking Dead, all right, where it's really post-apocalyptic, and it's actually a pretty good story. I don't like to go too deep into these because I don't want to spoil them, but White Sky, I think is going to be one of them ones. I think by the end of the year, we may say White Sky is one of the best comics to come out of 2026, and I think they make a movie or something out of it. I think it could be popular in the future. I'm saying that now. 51 by Mad Cave's Comics. I've been looking at a lot of Mad Cave's comics. I'm actually gonna submit some comics to Mad Cave, but that's neither here nor there right now. But 51 by Mad Cave's Comics. Number 2 was supposed to come out today, but my store didn't have it. But they had number 1. I had to get them to order number 2, and I had to get them to order Roots of Madness by Stephanie Williams, who's a dope Black woman writer. So you definitely should check her out. But Roots of Madness, I had to get that number 6 and number 2 of this order, so it'll be there when I get there next week. But 51 is kind of like an Area 51 type of story. I don't remember fully what it was about, but I remember it's interesting and the artwork in it was dope. So I went kind of flipped through the pages a little bit. But it's kind of cool, kind of trying to test out different things, looking at kind of things that catch my eye, but may not fully be stuff I would dive into, like action or like horror. That's stuff I would jump into automatically. But I'm trying to expand, diversify my bonds. You feel me? All right, next up we got Final Boss Masked Vigilante. Now, Final Boss is a very dope story by Image Comics. It's actually written by one of my favorite artists, Tyler Kirkham, which is actually, this is the Tyler Kirkham cover, which is in Akira homage. You feel me? We all know about the Akira homages. You feel me? So, um, this is actually a story within this Final Boss universe where Final Boss is kind of like this solo leveling type of story. It's kind of like a video game and a comic book. You feel me? So this is Masked Vigilante out of that universe. I actually read this, which this is a straightforward action. This entire story is action with basically the telling of the backstory and things with the narration. That was fire to me. Literally nothing but action with narration telling the story and the backstory, how we got to it. I love that. I love that. Expect me to write a story like that soon because that was fire. Oh, the story of Robert Smalls. Now, this is actually a book I got on Kickstarter a while ago. I got the hardcover of it, but this was by Stranger Comics and actually came to comic book stores today. And this is a dope black indie comic book. So I just want to support it and get it off the shelves. Like I said, I got the hardcover of the whole volume, but since they're releasing these out in stores, I will be getting this and actually adding it to my pull list too, so I can get these. Shouts to Stranger Comics. They're very dope comic book company right now, black owned. They're doing a lot of dope things within the comic book scene, a lot of big things within the comic scene, especially for an indie creator. So definitely check out Stranger Comics and everything they're doing. Another Mad Cave story called Honor and Curse. And I think that this actually has a story in the past that I need to read up, or this is like a revamp of a story. But basically, there's this guy who's like immortal now because he has this demon that's trapped in his head, and the demon's keeping him alive. And he's been keeping this demon at bay, trapped in his head. And there's a lot more to the story, but that's all I remember right now. This is issue number 2 of it. I actually I'm probably gonna read number 1 again and then jump back into number 2. But I do remember about the demon and how it's just in his head and he kept it trapped and it's keeping him alive. And I actually think I think he's actually owner of a corrupt company and something like that, and people are coming after him. So this is actually one that's very interesting, one of very honor and curse. And I think there's more to this universe that this is in. I have to check that out. I'll get back to y'all on that. But that's actually a really good story by Mad Caves. And the last one, actually no, not the last one, second to last, Planet She-Hulk by Stephanie Phillips. Now, Stephanie Phillips is a dope writer. She's actually writing Daredevil right now, and does a YouTube. I mean, she has a TikTok channel where she talks about being a comic book writer and gives you advice on pitching to comic book companies and also writing scripts. She does a lot to help writers and creators. So definitely check out her TikTok. But Stephanie Phillips is actually writing Planet She-Hulk, and I've never actually been a She-Hulk fan. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never been a She-Hulk fan, but I got this book because I thought it was interesting with her going to Planet Hulk and spinning off of Imperial. And Stephanie Phillips, I follow her, so she's a writer that I support, that I'm going to probably support. I read her story Grim, that's outside of DC and Marvel. It's actually by Boom Studios, I believe. It's actually about like a Grim Reaper. I'm not gonna go into that because you need to read. It's about a Grim Reaper who becomes a Grim Reaper, and most of the Grim Reapers remember how they die, but she doesn't know how she dies, and then so she basically is like something different. You get what I'm saying? So that Grim is also written by Stephanie Phillips, but this is Planet She-Hulk, and this has actually been a very good. She actually has to go to Sakaar. I think that's how you say it, to basically Planet Hulk and be the new ruler. And she has to deal with all the stuff that goes on Planet Hulk because then people was ruthless. This is actually a very good book, very funny, bro. I think if you like Star Wars, right? If you like Star Wars and stuff like that, and like kind of like take like Star Wars, like the Jabba the Hutts and like stuff like that, and where it's like these factions and groups and of aliens, and they have different rules and stuff like that, and then they're all on this planet, and you throw She-Hulk into like that world. That is what this is like to me. All right, it's like She-Hulk, Star Wars. You feel me? But it's actually a very good book. Like I said, I'm not really typically a She-Hulk fan, but this book is really dope, and I think Stephanie Phillips. I think she did. I'm like I said, I'm not a huge She-Hulk fan, but I think she may be a good fit to stay on She-Hulk for a minute. But they said that this series actually got canceled. There was a lot of changes that happened, so this series will not continue actually. So that's disheartening. But hey, at least it got to 6. I think the 6 might be the final. So once I read this, I'll check it out and see what happens. And also, yesterday, today, sometime, I got a comic that I supported on Kickstarter called Iron Stride. Iron Stride by what's this called? Faith Walker Comics. All right. Uh sorry about that. By Faith Walker Comics. Now, this is a comic I got on Kickstarter. Now, I don't fully know what this is about because I don't remember, but I kind of remember, but I think it looked very interesting to me, so I backed it. And plus, it got black characters. Black characters. I don't know if the creators are black, but it got black characters in it. So that's why I checked it out. I'm gonna read it and see what it's about, and probably talk about it, since I'm always talking about black indies, support indie comic books. So yeah, Iron Iron Stride #1 by Faith Walker Comics is a book that I got off Kickstarter. So just added to my pull list of this week. So that's all the comics I got this week, y'all. I'll be back next week. May even start doing recaps on these videos, you feel me, about the comics that I'm reading and talk about them. If y'all want to see if this comic y'all think is interesting, want me to talk about, just let me know in the comments and I'll talk about it. But there's been another episode of Go Through Em. I didn't even introduce myself. People, y'all know me. Malcolm McFadden, Chris, 615 Comics, and this is the Yo Nerd podcast. Well, these aren't the Yo Nerd. I'm messing this all up. This is Go Through Em. And hold on. I got. This is Go Through Em. This is the so I'll be back next week, y'all. Peace.